Humanity sets the agenda.
Influencers, for example, have to have hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored if they do a post on Twitter or on Instagram or something like that. They have to indicate when they've been paid to do the advertising. And when we talk about paid to do the advertising, that includes if they've been given something for free. If they've been given anything in exchange for the view that they are now sharing about that product, that is a paid for ad, and they have to use hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored or something that informs the consumer that this was not their spontaneous opinion. This was something that they were given something in exchange for.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. 8:10 exactly on News and Views right here on Salam Media. And just before I welcome to the show Yusuf Abramjee, I'm going to read a feed from Twitter which has been posted by someone called Z Isaacs. It's a very it's targeted at Yusuf Abramjee. And my personal view on it is that it was in very poor taste. I'm going to read it very quickly, and I'm going to then hand over the next 10 minutes to Yusuf Abramjee. Z Isaac starts off by saying, number one, to Yusuf directly, do you know what a virtual assistant means? Everyone is aware that I am a virtual assistant for many companies. How dare you? Number two, she goes on to say, you're a moron. You safeguard yourself by using the word alleged without thinking what the consequences of your stupid utterance can be. What does agent even mean? Are you looking for a story for your low-rated TV program? Still targeted at Yusuf Abramjee, she goes on to question number three. You're supposed to be aware that it is a criminal offense to use my picture, that is, of course, the Isaacs, without my consent. For a person presenting a crime program, you look quite brainless to me, along with others who have decided to repost. Last but not least, and when she says to repost, that is at Dubai Police HQ. And lastly, number four, I refuse to dignify engaging you. There are better ways of doing that under these circumstances, and I reserve my rights for now. A very, very aggressive Twitter feed to you, Yusuf. How do you respond to that, given that we were in any event going to be addressing this situation? Hello, darlings. Tasneem Moosa and a company that is based in Dubai. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Walaikum salam, Auntie Julie. I just got the tail end of it. I suppose you're referring to the Instagram post by a so-called agent or a blogger or an influencer last night. And
Yes,
if so,
exactly.
The person involved has sent me a direct message to apologize. She acknowledges she's out of line. She has confirmed that she was an agent, a virtual agent for Tasneem Moosa, and she's just removed that post. So I accept the apology. It appears also she was a victim of Tasneem Moosa, and she was also owed some money. It appears that this entire Tasneem Moosa scandal is very widespread, and a lot of people have lost money, including some of her agents.
Okay, so she's now retracted and removed that tweet and has apologized to you unreservedly regarding that attack on you.
Correct.
Okay. Gosh, it is absolutely mind-boggling what this woman has actually gone on to say and do. Let's go back to that initial communique that she put out and the interview that you had with the Lodium Sun and Glow TV. she comes across as being pretty apologetic and almost suggesting that she was a victim of her circumstances. But the fact that she's now also been involved with these shenanigans in Dubai and possibly other overseas destinations as well indicates a very sharp criminal mind here. She was out to make as much money as she possibly could regarding these scams or this Ponzi scheme that she's been operating.
Well, let me give you a quick update to show you the extent of the alleged swindling. And I say alleged swindling because she still has to be convicted before a court of law. The latest number of cases that have been recorded in South Africa is 364. Those are charges of theft and fraud. The total amount so far recorded through the criminal cases alone is 32.2 million rand. We expect more criminal charges to be opened over the coming days and the coming hours, and we expect the numbers to increase substantially. That gives you a quick idea of how many people have lost their money. Tasneem Moosa claims that 25 million is possibly the maximum amount that she took. Clearly, she's lying to the public. You referred to an interview in inverted commas, because I don't regard that as an interview. She backed down on a promised interview she was supposed to do with me on Tuesday morning. She wanted a comprehensive list of questions before coming and answering my questions, and I refused to do that because as a journalist or as a former media personality, we know that criminals can run but they cannot hide. And I'm not saying she's a criminal as yet. I say she's an alleged criminal, clearly by her behavior and the modus operandi she's using. She's allegedly swindled a lot of people money, and people are understandably angry. People are angry with influencers, with bloggers, with other people involved, and the law must take its course. Tasneem Moosa has a lot of questions to answer. People have their hard-earned cash that they booked their dream holidays that have been dashed. People want their money back, and yes, some refunds have been made. And clearly from some of the bank statements that are floating around on social media, Tasneem Moosa used her personal FNB account to transact from the business, which is another issue on its own. And that is why we've called on the South African Revenue Services to fully investigate and to get to the bottom of it. And one will see from those bank statements that are viral, she went on a shopping spree just recently, even bought some items from the Louis Vuitton store. She transferred money from to family members and some large sums of money as well to people that are apparently known to her. And you ask about the links in Dubai. Yes, from what we have established, she has a company in Dubai. She has possibly a home in Dubai. And the big question is, where is Tasneem Moosa as we speak?
So I have concluded, and I could be totally off the mark here, but the fact that she has a company in Dubai called Fem Voyages, and the fact that she's been operating in that country, and the fact that apparently some refunds were made recently in the UAE, has made me believe that she's probably residing in Dubai or in somewhere in the UAE. Have we up to now established exactly where she is? Because there's also been suggestions that she might possibly be living in Turkey.
Well, first of all, let's place the facts on record. Tasneem Moosa claims she's in hiding because there were threats to her family, especially to her children. Whether she's in our backyard here in South Africa, which is a possibility, whether she's in Dubai, whether she's in Turkey, or whether she's in Bahrain, as some people have speculated, is now the subject of a police investigation. Let's explain the police investigation, and let me again say to anyone that has lost money, go and open a criminal charge with the South African Police Services. The dockets are being transferred to the commercial crime units, and I've confirmed with the leadership of the Hawks in Gauteng that they will assist the commercial crime units in investigating those cases. Point number one. Point number two, the minute the police complete the investigations, there will probably be a warrant of arrest that will be issued. Once the warrant of arrest is issued, the hunt for her will start. I'm not saying that the hunt hasn't started as yet, and I don't want to go into investigation details and go and try to undermine the police investigations. Normally, once the warrant of arrest has been issued, and if they can't find her, they will alert Interpol and a red notice will be issued. And if she finds herself in a different country, obviously extradition proceedings will have to follow. I know that people are also planning to open cases in Dubai. We know the law in Dubai is quite stringent. The company regulations are very stringent. So it will be interesting to see how those investigations in Dubai unfold. And I'm not sure whether cases are being opened in Turkey. I haven't had any confirmation of that, Auntie Julie.
Okay, I spoke to a legal expert 2 days ago about this issue. And I know in one of your previous communiques, I think it was your communique. But anyway, she does claim that she said in that communique via the Lodium Sun. I think she made that statement available to only the Lodium Sun and to Glow TV. She states in that communique that her lawyers or legal representatives, whom we don't know who they are, where they based, have suggested that she claim insolvency. My big question obviously was, if she claims insolvency, it does definitely indicate that everybody that had paid upfront will have lost their money. What he went on further to tell me is that's fine. It's not fine that people have lost their money. That's the one issue. So they won't probably get anything out of what they've paid forward for those holidays, because if she claims insolvency, there won't be enough money to pay out. So it's X amount per rand, or however they work that out. However, he did say that they can still open up criminal charges against her, and if she's then proved guilty in a law of court via a class action, she could spend quite a number of years in prison. So I guess, look, nobody wants it to come to that. We're hoping and praying that she comes forward, that she tries and make good, pay the people their money, because we don't want to see someone rotting in jail for 5, 10 or more years. That's not what we want to see. But if she doesn't pay back the money, this is going to be the eventual outcome, is it not?
Yes, I listened to the interview you did with former Judge William Booth, and he's absolutely correct. Criminal charges is the first route to go. I can confirm that in a text message to me, she confirmed that her company is going into liquidation. Yesterday, an attorney in Erasmia, Pretoria, issued a statement saying he's now representing her. She's apparently also appointed a company in Pretoria to do a forensic audit, which I find very bizarre. Why a forensic audit is needed by a company she appoints. In fact, we know that the liquidation process is something which takes time, and a lot of the insolvency practitioners are already touting for business. The master of the court, once the liquidation application has been received, will then appoint an insolvency practitioner based on the feedback that is given from the creditors. So the people that are owed money to will have a say as to who becomes the insolvency practitioner. That's the first point. Secondly, I agree with you. No one wants to see anyone going to jail. Whether a business legitimately had a problem is a different debate and a different argument. And people want their money back. We know that with the liquidation process, depending on the assets of the company, how much money or property or other items she might have, and once it's sold, will be retrieved. But I remain very skeptical that people will get 1 rand for every rand they put in. Probably much less, if anything, but we'll have to see how the insolvency practitioners or the liquidators handle that particular process, and it's going to be a question of time.
Where to from here now, Yusuf? In terms of wrapping up this really sorry, sick and ugly saga?
Tasneem Moosa must come and face the law. She's got a lot of people to answer to. She, as I mentioned earlier, the good old adage, she can run, but she cannot hide, holds true. She must face the law. She must face the big bill that she's facing victims to. We know that the Company Act may be contravened, so there might be criminal charges followed from there as well. Running away is not going to solve the problem. She must face the music. And my appeal publicly on your platform is to call on Tasneem Moosa to come forward and to present herself to the law enforcement agencies and let the law take its course. She must answer to the people. And those influencers and bloggers that have been punting her business, I posted it the other day and I posted a Salam Media post. And you would see, you know, I endorse certain products, and after every of those advertisements, I put the word advert or ad, which is a Advertising Standards Authority requirement. And despite that, some of the bloggers that were supporting her are still not doing that. Some of them remain very arrogant. Some of them are becoming defensive. And I think the least they can do for now is to come forward and give their side of the story and apologize. Some of them even have the Hello Darlings adverts on the Instagram pages, which is sad, and really people were lured by these influencers and bloggers. And I know they took it in good faith. They believed that Moosa was giving good holidays. And I have to ask the question, Auntie Julie, even when her business was in trouble recently, she offered holidays at 50%. Under what the resorts in Maldives, for example, were charging. And I'm in possession of correspondence by those resorts to say they find it very, very bizarre that Tasneem Moosa will sell what she's paying for 50% less. So I have to question the motives for her adverts and trying to allegedly cash in and make money before she went bust.
Okay, we will still be following the story very, very closely. Undoubtedly, you are going to be on the panel on Inayat Wadi's show tonight. And, you know, we thank you for your diligent work as a social cohesion activist, you know, not only in the case with Tasneem Moosa and Hello Darlings, with many other cases. Lastly, Yusuf, my husband and I were having this discussion last night when I told him that I'll be chatting with you this morning on this ongoing Sikh saga of Hello Darlings. And I did indicate that there's a possibility that Interpol will or are involved in these investigations. And the question he put to me is, we know that a while ago, Interpol was supposedly involved, and I digress here, obviously, just taking away from our current discussion, was that Interpol were involved with the Gupta case, the state capture case, and we were all, as South Africans, waiting with bated breath for Interpol to bring back the Guptas, to pay back the money, to answer to their involvement, their very deep involvement in state capture, and to pay back the money. And my husband kind of said, if we haven't heard anything up to now on that case, what chances are there that Tasneem Moosa is going to be brought to book? Your thoughts? Yusuf, are you there? Oh gosh. At that very crucial juncture, we seem to have lost Yusuf. Yusuf, are you back?
I'm here, Auntie Julie, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Did you hear my
Thank you.
question?
I got your question, and my response is very clear. I'm not updated with the Gupta case. I don't work for Interpol, and I don't want to hamper any investigation that may jeopardize that particular case. But let me say that Interpol, as a turnback crime ambassador, is an international policing body. They have processes. They work on red alerts that are issued that makes it difficult for people to travel. South Africa has extradition agreements with some countries, and with others they don't. We know there are certain complications. We know there have to be applications before courts of law. There has to be diplomatic interventions. It does take many, many months, if not years. I know, for example, of a case in Australia where somebody has to be extradited, and because there was no extradition agreements in place, that particular person is still having a good holiday in Australia. So there are processes, and these things do take time, but the mere fact that Interpol has issued a red warrant will make it very difficult for those people, wherever they are, to even travel. And depending on the extradition agreements and the negotiations between the two countries concerned, the outcome will then be based on what debt agreements have to say and how the processes are followed.
Thank you indeed, Yusuf Abramjee, social cohesion activist. Always a pleasure talking to you because you truly give us deep insights into matters relating to crime, etc. So thank you once again for your time, and we'll be watching and listening to tonight's show with much attention. Assalamu alaikum, and you go well.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thanks for the opportunity, Auntie Julie, and thank you for always asking all the relevant and the important questions. Assalamu alaikum.
Shukran very much. 8:29. This is News and Views right here on Salam Media.